Hey, this is Jacqué with Marketing Adventure. Welcome. Today's episode is going to be a bit different. Today we're going to have a raw, unedited version of this show because I am bringing you my 1 year anniversary show. And in this show, I'm just going to spotlight some things from over this past year, episode series that have been the best episode series, and just want to talk a little bit about what's been going on this whole year. So come on into the room, let's get it started. You're listening to Marketing EdVenture, the hub for business, fashion, marketing, and other CTE educators who integrate marketing into the learning experience. I'm your host, Jacqué Walker. Each week, I'll cover marketing education concepts, strategies, tips, trends, frameworks, and other information to equip you to connect your classroom to digital natives while cultivating an engaged learning environment. So come on into the room where your favorite beverage, snacks, and even your cell phone are all welcome. Now, when I tell you that this is going to be raw and unedited, you're going to hear everything. You just heard a bird in the background because my window's open. My grandkids are here. Usually I record when they go to church on Sunday evenings. So usually they're not here, but you could probably hear them in the background right now. My daughter is packing to move next week into her own apartment. And it may sound a little bit echoey in here because I am preparing to move myself. And so this room that I am in is practically empty. So you're going to hear a lot of different things, and I'm not going to edit those out because today is raw and unedited. Celebrating 1 year of podcasting. It has been such a pleasure, I have to tell you, to be podcasting, talking about fashion marketing, because quite honestly, no one out there is talking about fashion marketing at the high school level for high school teachers, providing content that they can use for their classrooms. So I am delighted to be here and to share that with you. And it's been a pleasure to come up with all of the different episodes over the last year. And it's really been easy because there's so much to talk about in the fashion industry with regard to fashion marketing. There's so much to talk about to break it down to the level that can be taught to high school students and even middle school students. So what I'm going to do is go over the top 3 series that I have talked about this past year. These are the area contents that the episodes people have listened to the most, and that have been really, I think, very detailed oriented and provided a lot of good information for you, the teacher, and the students. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with the number 3 episode series, and then I'm going to work my way to number 1. So the number 3 episode series that was most downloaded and listened to is the Fashion Movement series. Now, this series was from episode 14 through 17, and it focused on 3 different portions of the fashion movement. So the first one started off with talking about the phases in of the fashion cycle and the runs. So how long each one of those phases last, and so it covered the fashion cycle basically. And then the next episode was actually not a part of the series. It was an episode about being a DECA judge. We're just going to skip over that one. But then the episode 16 talked about the 3 simple theories that you can learn related to the fashion movement. And then the third part of that series was focused on the 4 key factors that marketers need to understand about the customer to understand the fashion movement. So those 3 components, I actually have a series, a project that focuses on the fashion movement. And you can actually go to my TPT store or even my marketingadventure.com and see that fashion movement bundle. It has 2 fashion cycle activities. It has 2 fashion theory activities and then 1 project. Very comprehensive. It's one of the favorites of the projects that I sell on my website. So that again is fashion movement, and it covers a lot. Like it takes you from the very beginning of, like I said, talking about the fashion cycle and then really helping kids understand those 3 different types of trends within fashion, your fad, your flop, your classic um, movement within the fashion cycle. It helps them understand the different 5 different phases of the fashion cycle. And then it gets into talking about the theories. And then it just really takes them on a deep dive into the movement itself. So check that one out. Again, episodes 14 through 17. Now, the second most listened to and downloaded series was about fashion show production. I thoroughly enjoyed recording this because teaching 14 years of fashion marketing at a high school, I produced, I believe it's 10 fashion shows, or I oversaw the production of 10 fashion shows. These were student produced fashion shows from concept all the way to implementation the day of the fashion show. And so I really, really enjoyed breaking down what it takes to produce a fashion show in this series called Mastering the Production. And it's episodes 21 through 31. So yes, it's very long because I get very meticulous and really break it down by the leadership roles and just all the things necessary to produce a fashion show. And during the time in which I released this, we had the fashion week that was going on. It was the spring fashion week in the springtime. And then Met Gala happened during this time. So you're going to have a little show, an episode interjected in there talking about the Met Gala. That's episode 30 if you want to just skip on over to that. And, but this series covered everything from, let me pull up my information here, covered everything from the history of fashion shows. I talked about how they evolved over the years or the decades, and then it goes into talking about the categories and the markets. And then next we get into exploring the roles of a fashion show. I talk about the details of the 6 major roles in a fashion show. And then we talk about holding your model call, and then model management and obtaining merchandise for your fashion show, creating a compelling design story through the theme development. So that's talking about how we went about developing the theme for the fashion show. And then it spotlights the stage coordinator and all the responsibilities that are involved with stage management. And then promotion, which is a very key element of a fashion show, because you can do all the work, but if you don't let anybody know about it, if you don't reach out to the right market, hey, the fashion show will be just for you and the people who created it. Again, I skip over the Met Gala is mixed in there. And then the last part is logistics. Talking about, all of the things behind the scene things that go on to bring this fashion show all together. So go out there, listen, episodes 21 through 31. It is a lot. And trust me, there is on the horizon something that I am working on for teachers who want to produce a fashion show and they need the tools. I'm working on it. It's coming to you. That was something I was going to have for the fall, but then life happened and it didn't happen. So go out there, listen to those episodes, find out all that you can find out about a fashion show. It gives you a good framework to start with and at least get the ball rolling on your fashion show. If you can start planning it for next school year, listen to that series now to get yourself ready for the next school year. Now, the top episode series for my podcast, and really, it should be no surprise to me because it's my number one seller on my website and TPT. It is the visual merchandising series. It is 4 episodes that I talk about visual merchandising. I break it down. I taught visual merchandising for 14 years as one of the dual credit classes for my students. And my students were earning a visual merchandising certificate as a part of their dual credit program. And they were graduating from the college with their certificate along the same time that they were obtaining their high school diploma. They actually got the certificate and walked in the college graduation before the high school graduation. Now, because visual merchandising has been top on my podcast and top in my sales, that's something I'm really going to explore a little bit more in depth in 2025. So be on the lookout for more visual merchandising. So the episodes for visual merchandising were episodes 44 through 47. And in the first episode, I go over what visual merchandising is and the signage component of visual merchandising. Now, visual merchandising is called the silent selling phase of fashion marketing because it is visual. It does not say anything. There is nothing that someone is doing. It is the elements that are put in place to capture the attention of the consumer and lures them in to making a purchase. That's why it's silent. It doesn't say anything verbally, but it's all visual. And so that episode talks about visual merchandising and the signage. And then it goes into the external and internal displays to give you information about what type of components those consist of. And then it goes into creating an atmosphere. And it's called atmospherics. And the atmosphere, if you listen to that episode, it'll talk about all the different elements that go into atmospherics. And it also talks about the floor plans because the floor plan is a part of the visual merchandising that helps guide the customer through the area to help them shop and make a purchase. And then the last episode is going to be talking about the essentials, things that you need as a part of being a visual merchandiser, and then some concepts that are key to visual merchandising. So go and check out the number one series from this podcast, Visual Merchandising's episodes 44 through 47. Now, of course, I believe that each and every episode that I've recorded, these last 61 episodes that I have recorded over this last 1 year and 11 days, because I dropped my first episode on November 20th of 2023. That was Black Friday. Yes, I dropped it in a busy season, and I just did that because I was excited and I just wanted to get it out there and I just wanted to get started. I didn't want to wait and try to figure out the perfect time. Teachers were home. I figured, hey, maybe someone will pick this up and listen to it because they're at home, they're chilling, and so I dropped it. And so, of course, Black Friday was, 2-3 days ago. And so here we are again, dropping the anniversary series, not necessarily on Black Friday. It'll be live on Cyber Monday. So we're still in the season. But anyhow, this is a good opportunity. Of course, like I said, I love recording all my episodes. I believe all the episodes that I've recorded have valuable information in them, which is why I record them. And hey, go back and take a listen. If you have not listened to all 61 episodes, some of them are a little bit long, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, I had pretty lengthy episodes that were 30 minutes or more. So those first 14 episodes, I think they're very good because it really talks about the framework of teaching fashion marketing. And I had guests on during that period of time. I have not done any guest episodes in months. It just takes a lot to coordinate that. And I really wanted to focus on the content that I wanted to deliver to you, the teacher, for you to use in your classroom. So I will get back to doing guest episodes, maybe a few here and there in 2025, but they need to be valuable enough where it's going to really provide content to you that you can use in your classroom. But so we will get back to that. And then maybe one day we'll branch out into some areas of things where I feel like it'd be good information to talk about for you as a teacher, not necessarily for your classroom, but if for someone that's teaching fashion marketing, and more like training per se, maybe like a PD episode that will benefit you. I already have one of those in here. I can't remember what episode it is, but I'll tag it in the description if I remember that. But it's like a PD episode where you can get valuable information that will help you in your teaching role. Okay, I found it. Episode 42 is my back to school episode where I really go into some details about the framework of teaching fashion marketing and give you some valuable insights on some things that would be beneficial as a fashion marketing teacher, that would help you, things that you can talk to your administration about and developing your program, etc., etc. It's a lot of good, juicy stuff in there. So go and check that out. Episode 42. Now, in 3 weeks, Christmas break is coming. Fall, winter break, whatever your district calls it, is coming. You're going to have a couple of weeks off. So if you have not listened to all these episodes, especially my top 3 series, during that time, take the opportunity to binge listen. My episodes now have really been about 15, 20 minutes long. So I really want them to be a good listen while you're driving to work. I know when I would be in the car, my ride was like about 26 minutes. So I would tap into podcasts and I would listen to them to and from work if I wasn't listening to an audiobook. But it was very beneficial to listen to these podcasts on my drive to or from work. So make this your drive to work listen during your break, during your planning period. But if you don't have time or you have some other things you like to tap into during those times, then when you get home for your 2-week winter break, make Marketing Adventure your go-to podcast to listen to. I look forward to 2025. I am in the midst of planning out some wonderful things to continue the discussion, and I'm coming out with some products that I still have years worth of products that need to be developed. And if you have something that you're interested in for fashion marketing that you have not heard, that you want more clarity or more content on, feel free to drop me an email, jwalker@marketingadventure.com, or you can go over to Instagram, Marketing Adventure, and send me a DM and say, hey, I love the stuff that you've been doing, but I really would like to hear more about this or that. Or leave me a suggestion or just drop in to say hi, because I want to hear from you. Anyhow, I do thank you for this 1 year of listening to my podcast and just being here with me along this journey. And just being willing to partake of the information. I look forward to having so much more for you in the future. And I do invite you to come on back, because I know I said we were going to start the personal selling series today. However, I was like, this is 1 year. I've got to celebrate this. So anyhow, next week, come on back for the personal selling series. It's going to be multiple episodes because personal selling covers a gamut of things. And I really want you all to be able to learn some things, some detailed things about personal selling. Also, I have some products that actually go hand in hand with this. I have some activities and a major project, which is one of my top sellers that go hand in hand with personal selling. So again, I thank you for joining me, Marketing Adventure with Jacqué, and I hope you have a wonderfully blessed day. Look forward to seeing you next week. Goodbye. Thanks for listening to Marketing EdVenture. Remember to subscribe, rate, review, and share this episode with someone you think would benefit from the information shared here today. If you have any questions or want to connect with me, find me on Instagram at Marketing EdVenture. All links and resources discussed in this episode can be found in the show notes at marketingedventure.com.